Welcome, dear friends. How are you also? Today we are going to see the story of a thief who could buy the government. He was so dangerous that the story starts in 1972 in the harbour of Busan, where the hero of our story, Lee, is shown. Lee does a simple job at a jewellery shop. Here a man takes him to a smuggler whom everyone calls boss. Then the boss tells Lee that, "Do that work for me tonight, I will give you a lot of money." Then they take Lee in a boat and put him on another boat in the middle of the sea, where two Japanese men have come to give them gold biscuits and expensive watches after smuggling them in 2 big bags. Then the boss tells Lee to check whether the gold is real or not. Lee says that the gold is real, boss, but the watches are fake. And then suddenly the sound of siren is heard, and the people of Korean Customs Department enter that boat. These people also quickly collect the gold and watches and take them out. Then the customs officers are searching the whole boat there. So the boss backs Lee and tells him to escape with it, and Lee immediately jumps into the sea with it. Meanwhile, the customs officers arrest all of them. They also catch Lee, who is swimming in the sea. Here the scene is cut, and in the next scene we come to know that whatever happened was the boss's trick. These customs officers were also his men who took the goods of the Japanese, but they avoided giving the cash that they had to pay to the Japanese for it. Well, friends, the boss also gives a good amount to Lee, and after this incident, Lee starts working for the boss. It is Lee's job to supply the jewellery, rice cooker, adder shoes, and many such things smuggled from the Japanese to various places in Korea. In such a situation, one day the boss introduces Lee to the owner of a shipping service company, whose name is Gog. When a ship gets damaged, it is given to Gog's company to repair it. Because of this, now the boss wants to sign a secret contract with Gog, under which the American military ships that come to Gog for service will be supplied to him. The boss will use his goods for smuggling, so Lee also gives the money given by the boss to Gog and comes home. Here, Lee lives with his wife and 3 children like a normal family. His wife Xian is the daughter of the father of the local church. Now what happens is that Lee does not earn that much, due to which he cannot even rent a house and lives in the church itself. Coming home, he is happily dancing with the children by playing music. Then a girl comes and tells him that your brother's life is in danger. Lee gets scared and immediately runs away. There some goons are beating Lee's brother. Now instead of beating those goons, Lee beats his brother and says, "How many times I have told you not to fight?" He apologizes to the goons and says that, "Look, if my brother has done something unknowingly, then forgive him for that and leave him." Then the leader of that gang comes there, whose name is Christopher, friends. He seems to be the don of this area. Lee's brother had fought with his men on some issue, due to which they were beating him, so Lee asks them. He apologizes, but Christopher pours alcohol in a can and urinates in it and tells Lee to drink it. Lee has no other way to save his brother, and he drinks it. Then he takes his brother to the hospital and gets him treated. When he comes out, the boss's man comes there and says that one of our smugglers who used to work for the boss has piles and is in the hospital. But according to his contract, a consignment of drugs was to be delivered to Japan today. So will you be able to do that? Now Lee was tired of smuggling ordinary rice cookers, shoes, etc., because he was not getting that much money, so he immediately agrees to smuggle the drugs because he will get more money. That night, Lee and his brother leave for Japan in a boat, and after reaching there, they hand over the consignment to the party. Then the leader of that gang, whose name is Johnny, comes there. Johnny is a small-level gangster in Japan, but was born in Korea. He talks to Lee in Korean language, which makes Lee very happy. That night, both of them are drinking in the bar, and then Johnny tells Lee that if you are caught while supplying drugs in Japan, you will be shot immediately, because Japan is progressing very fast, and in such a situation, if drugs enter the country, then it will have a bad effect on the country. That is why such strict punishment is given. That is why we have to smuggle drugs from Korea here. Not only this, the water of Korea is very clean as compared to Japan, and the drugs made from it are of very good quality, so chemicals from Japan It is supplied, from which the intoxicating substance is made in Korea, and then it is sold back in Japan, and there is so much profit in it that you can't even imagine. Next morning, the Korean CIA team raids the boss's office in Korea. The boss immediately calls his friend from the customs and asks, "How is this raid happening in your presence?" He says that I can't do anything because this order has come from above. The boss says that save me by any means, and in exchange of me, I am ready to hand over Lee to them. Because of this, as soon as Lee comes from Japan to Korea, the Korean CIA team arrests him. Lee is hung upside down in a go-down and beaten badly. Then an inspector of the Korean CIA asks Lee that how dare you that you use the American military ship to do smuggling. Lee pleads a lot that I don't know anything. I have a wife and children, let me go, but they put him in jail. Then in the jail, Lee sees the captain of a Japanese ship whose name is Shu. Other prisoners in the jail are talking about him, which Lee also hears. When Xian's wife comes to meet him, Lee says that I want to meet the boss's customs friend. Xian also informs him and brings him here. Lee tells her that please get me out of this jail somehow. I have a solid plan. If it succeeds, I will get a lot of money and I will give you a good part of it. On this, he uses his influence to get Lee released. Actually, he had presented medical documents that Lee has pneumonia and he cannot stay in jail. Due to this, Lee is kept under house arrest, but he will have to go to the police station every day and sign. On this condition, he releases Lee for the time being. After coming out, first of all, Lee goes to meet Choi and says that I know that you are #1 in smuggling items to Japan. If you can send my narcotics to Japan through your ship, then both of us can earn a lot of money. Saying this, he gives some amount to Choi as advance. Choi also agrees. The next day, friends, Choi takes Lee to Korean narcotics. He introduces him to the head of the department. Lee gives him a huge amount of money. Seeing this, he is also very happy and says that business is fine, but if the person doing the business of drugs himself takes drugs, then the business cannot run. Do you take drugs? Lee says that no, I am not addicted to drugs. I just want to sell it. Now a team of these three is formed, but now someone is needed to make the drugs. Then Lee remembers Johnny's words, who had mentioned a professor named Baker who makes drugs. Lee then immediately fixes a meeting with Baker, and their meeting takes place in a go-down where something happens in the meeting that the next day these people smuggle chemicals from Japan to Korea in a ship to make the drugs. Then in a deserted place in the city where there is a pig farm, a lab is set up for Professor Baker in a room where he will prepare the drugs, and in just 5 hours, Baker makes the first consignment of the drugs and then sends it through Showa's ship. By smuggling and sending the drugs to Japan, they earn profit for the first time. On the other hand, Johnny, who buys drugs from them in Japan, understands that Choi is much more experienced in this business than Lee, and because of this, both of them join hands and cheat Lee and take a lot of goods. Lee's sister notices this and tells Lee that they are maintaining separate accounts and we are not getting the share of the profit that we should get. When Lee asks Choi about this, he says that, look brother, if I was not there, you would have been rotting in jail. Whatever you are earning because of me. Remember this, and he leaves. Lee understands that now this will not work. I will have to take some other step. He directly goes to meet a Korean gangster named Joe and tries to deal with him. He also shows him his goods and says that, look, I have absolutely top quality goods. If you help me in smuggling and selling it in Japan, then I can give you up to 30% of the profit. Then Joey tells that Japan's famous smuggler Park is my python friend. He is almost like my brother, and he will do anything for me. Your goods will reach Japan safely. However, Levi says that it is okay. I will get all my goods transported through you. I will go and meet Mr. Park myself. You please talk to him. Now Joey calls Park and informs him, and he is waiting for Lee in a hotel in Japan. Lee and his brother go to Japan and go to that hotel where a man is telling someone on the phone that he is in room number 73 and 2 men are coming from Korea to meet him. We will catch them, and in their place we will go to meet Park and kill him. That means friends. Some other gang of Japan wants to kill Park. Knowing this, Lee gives a suitcase to his brother and says you go and talk in room number 73. After sending him, Lee immediately calls room number 73 from the phone booth and says that your life is in danger, but those people do not know Korean language and are not able to understand Lee. So Lee puts the phone down and turns around. Then a man from that gang who had come to kill Park is after Lee. He tries to stab Lee with a knife and kisses him, but Lee stabs him with his knife and runs towards room number 73. Then a man from that rival gang is going towards Park's room, so Lee gets scared and locks him. Hearing the sound, Park's men also reach there, and now a fight takes place between the two gangs. Then a man enters Park's room with a gun. Lee immediately stops him and starts fighting with him. Meanwhile, Park hides in a nearby room, and then his men kill the man from the rival gang by killing him. When the ground is cleared, Park comes out. Now he does not know Lee at the moment, so he asks, "Who are you, brother, who is risking his life to save me?" Then Lee tells him everything, that he is a man sent by Joe and wants to do business with Park. Now friends, because Lee put his life in danger to save his life, Lee likes him a lot. That night he takes Lee and his brother to a good bar and gives them expensive drinks and also gives them a large amount of money. There, for the first time, Lee and his brother mix that drug in the drink and drink it. Then both return to Korea with the money given by Park. From here, Lee's drug business starts. With the help of Pa, he gets the raw materials of the drug, i.e. chemicals, from Japan. They smuggle drugs into Korea, from which Professor Baker makes drugs, and then, with the help of Joe, they are smuggled back to Japan, and there these drugs illegally make a good place for themselves in the market. Due to this, Lee's business grows day by day, and now the year was 1974. A new officer is appointed in the Korean narcotics department, whose name is Shesh. On the other hand, Lee buys a big house in the city and shifts there with his family. Lee arrives in his new and big car. Then Christopher, who had forced Lee to drink his urine, now opens the door of his car for Lee. Now one day, Lee goes to give the drugs and his share to Joe. Then Joe says that there is a lot of demand for drugs, not only in Japan, but also in our country. If we sell locally, then the business will grow even more. Lee also agrees to him and starts selling his drugs locally as well. Then the new narcotics officer Shesh catches a man buying drugs and interrogates him. But he does not know who is selling it, so the chief tells him to buy it the way he always buys the goods. We will surround the drug dealer and then make him reveal the truth. He also goes to buy it. The chief of the narcotics department is also included in this mission, but he is afraid that if Lee's gang selling drugs is caught, he will also get caught because Lee also makes him aware. The chief then thinks of a trick. When the man goes to buy the drugs, two local dealers are coming in a car at a short distance. On the same road, in front of a hospital, the chief and another officer are sitting in a green truck. Now the chief immediately calls that hospital and says that there is a truck standing in front of your hospital in which a man is in a very serious condition. He has been bitten by a poisonous snake. Please help him quickly. Then the doctor and nurses come running and start checking both of them, that tell who was bitten by the snake. Meanwhile, those two dealers see the police officers sitting in the truck and immediately puts the reverse gear on and tries to escape from there, but Esh chases them in his truck and finally catches them. In the next scene, they are at the station and out of fear, they reveal Lee's name. Friends, now she asks the chief to track down Lee. On hearing Lee's name, the chief says that Lee is just an ordinary thief. How would he sell drugs? That man is definitely lying. Sheesh says that if that's the case, leave Lee alone, sir. The gangsters catch Joey and Captain Choi, but the chief says that it is not that easy to catch both of them. Their reach is quite high. We have to start from the bottom. First, we will catch the people who are doing drugs on the streets and interrogate them. Then we will know where it starts from. Now, on hearing his childish acts, Sho gets suspicious of him and says that I will take care of everything. You just track the location of both of them and tell me. I will bring their arrest warrant. When Choi gets the news, he immediately informs Lee, and Lee also goes there in his car. He starts scolding Lee that I had already told you not to deal with gangsters. You will get trapped. But Lee says that if I don't do the drug business with gangsters, then should I do it with saints? Hey, the stuff is mine. The business is also mine. You don't need to come in between. On this, Choi starts hitting Lee in anger and says that because of you, now the police is after me too. From today, we both are strangers. Understand? You know me, neither I know you, and you also go somewhere and escape. Otherwise, you will be arrested. Saying this, Choi leaves. Now Lee. He starts getting tensed and calls Joey. Joey says there is no need to be so tensed. You go to Seoul and meet Mr. Kim. He will help you. Tell him that I have sent you. Lee also goes to Seoul without wasting time. Actually, this Kim is a small gangster working under Joey. Lee decides to stay here in hiding for a few days. He shows Kim his stuff, which he puts in an injection and injects himself. He gets addicted to it so much that although Lee is hiding from the police, he still wants to continue his business during this time and calls Professor Baker to Seoul. Here, a lab is made at Kim's place, and Lee also learns the way to make drugs from Baker. Then he himself makes a consignment of drugs. Baker is shocked that you have learned so quickly. Now Lee starts taking his business forward from Seoul itself. He roams around many places with Kim. One day, Kim takes him to a pump, and there he sees Lee. Lee shows Lee a girl and says that she is the daughter of a big politician. If we make her our puppet, then we will be able to start our business at the international level with the influence of the politician. Now Lee gets more greedy, and he talks to that girl whose name is Lita. The next day he takes her on a date in his costly car and impresses her. After this, Lee starts living with a new name and a new identity. He introduces himself as the CEO of a big food export company. Lee and Lita become closer, and she also introduces Lee to her father's men and says that Lee can give a lot of funding for his father's election campaign. Now, gradually, Lee's political connections also start increasing. One day, Lita takes Lee to Japan to meet her father. Her father is the foreign minister in Japan. Lee meets him and also gives him a gift. When he opens that box, there is a statue of Buddha inside. Lee says that it is filled with top-quality drugs. Hearing this, she goes to Lee with more money. Lee becomes friendly, and then when he is standing alone in that party and drinking, a man comes and casually asks him, "What are you thief doing here?" Actually, friends, he was none other than a CIA inspector who had once caught Lee and hung him upside down and beaten him. He says, "What work does a petty thief like you have in such a big party? Who allowed you inside? If it was up to me, I would have killed you by throwing you in the sea that day, but you were lucky that you survived." In this way, he leaves after making fun of Lee, and Lee is very angry. Then Lita comes and asks, "Why are you so tensed?" Lee also points towards the CI inspector and asks, "What is he doing here?" Lita tells him that he currently works in the Korean embassy. He has to catch the Japanese spies in our country. This is his job. That night, after the party, Lee goes straight to meet Johnny and shows him the statue of Buddha filled with drugs. Meanwhile, the CIA inspector's car comes from behind. Lee tells Johnny everything here, how that inspector caught me and hung me. He was beaten and then put in jail. Now Johnny looks at the inspector very carefully and tells him, "Brother, this is a very dangerous man. He put my brother's son, who was studying in college, in jail by calling him a Japanese spy. He has ruined my family's name." In this way, he also starts venting his anger. Meanwhile, the inspector comes to the door and asks, "Are you a Japanese spy?" Johnny gets angry. I grab his shirt and pull him inside. Lee also holds him, and Johnny starts the car and drags the inspector towards the wall. He dies after getting stuck between the car and the wall. Now both of them together cut his body into pieces and lock it in a barrel. Then they take him to the middle of the sea and dispose him. Lee is not able to accept that he has killed a living man and cut him into pieces. He cries a lot, and to get rid of this guilt, he mixes his intoxicant in a glass and drinks it. On the other hand, Esh forms a special team because he suspects that there is someone in the police department who is leaking information to the smuggling gangs. They catch a constable who is taking bribe from a gang, and on interrogating him, it is revealed that the chief of the narcotics department himself is involved with those gangs. He also takes Lee's name, but due to lack of any evidence against Lee, Esh is not able to take any action against him. 2 years pass. Now he returns to Busan and buys a big house outside the city and starts living there. He sets up a lab there and makes drugs and supplies them to Japan and Korea through his men. In that house, he makes a big vault and keeps all the money earned from this business inside it. Data also starts living with him. During the day, Lee is the CEO of a food export company, and at night, he is living as the kingpin of the drug business. His life is going great, but one day, Lee's brother, in a drunken state, stabs someone and kills him. To save him from the police, Lee asks his men to pick him up and lock him up in a building. That night, Lee goes to meet his brother, but he says that you did not give me my share in the business. Brother, you have cheated me. Saying this, he cuts Lee's ear in anger. Meanwhile, Joey comes and says that the body of the person killed by your brother will have to be disposed of. It will cost a lot. Lee angrily says that you can take as many as you want from me, but dispose of the body quietly now, sir. His voice like that of giving angers Joey, and he says that you have reached such heights because of me. Understand? Do not think of me as your servant, or else I will kill you. Threatening this, he leaves. On the other hand, Xian-Ie, Lee's wife, comes to know that Lee is living with Lita. She shouts at Lee that, now you do not need me, and neither do I need you. Do not try to meet the children ever again. Saying this, she throws Lee out of the house. Lee also shouts at her and leaves from there and comes straight to his house where Lita is waiting for him. She sees that there are marks of drug injection on Lee's hand. She says that I am arranging new businesses for you by telling my father, and you are taking drugs again and again. This will not work. On this, Lee also gets angry at Lita and scolds her and leaves. On the other hand, Lee's brother, who is in the hospital in an injured condition, is discharged. As soon as he comes out, the police takes him away. Sean also comes to know that Lee is her brother, who is a drug addict. The kingpin of the smuggling is Lee. He brainwashes Lee's brother a lot that your brother earned money in business but did not give you anything. Here, Lita is planning to catch Lee through his brother. That night, Lee's brother calls him and says that I am dying of hunger, brother. Come soon. Lee also gets scared and immediately reaches there. The police catches him and handcuffs him and takes him directly to the police station. They come to know that Lee deceived everyone by telling him that he is the CEO of a food export company. They force Lee to confess that he is the kingpin of the drug smuggling, but Lee doesn't confess. He says that you will be beaten up by the police for 2 days, otherwise you will reveal it yourself. Saying this, he goes out, but the next day, Lee is released. Actually, Lita has used her father's influence to get him out. She takes Lee in her car, and on the way, she says that next time, if you get caught in this drug case, I will not come to catch you. To free her, Lee gets angry and says that you freed me with my money, and you are showing such arrogance as if you have spent the money from your own pocket. Both of them argue on this, but at one point, Lee angrily hits her and pushes her out of the car and leaves. Then the driver says that Johnny has come to Korea and right now he is in Osan. It seems he killed some big gangster in Japan. That is why the people of that gang are looking for Johnny to kill him. That is why he ran away back to Korea out of fear. That night, Johnny calls Lee and asks for help, but Lee says that the police is already tracking me. I will not get myself caught in the process of saving you. Then Johnny threatens him that I will reveal all your secrets to the police. Then you will know. Saying this, he disconnects the call. The next day, Lee meets Christopher and tells him that 2 people are troubling me. I need your help to kill them. That night, a constable tells Esh that a man named Johnny called me. He knows some secrets about Lee, which he wants to tell us. She immediately leaves to catch Johnny, but inside the city, students are protesting against the government. On the other hand, Joe is sitting in the swimming pool of his house and injecting drugs. Christopher and his gang break the door and come inside, all together kill Joe with a knife. On the other hand, Esh goes to catch Joey, but someone throws a stone in the student protest, and there are riots there. When everything calms down, Johnny dies there. He is lying there. It seems that someone stabbed him. In this way, Lee, with the help of Christopher, killed both Joey and Johnny in one night. On the same day, someone shoots the president of Korea, and the president is dead. Now, military rule starts in the country. All the government officials are leaving the country. Lita is leaving the city with gold biscuits in her bag. The next day, Lee calls all the politicians in his contact, but no one picks up the phone. A man attends the call but says that the condition of the country is not good. You should leave the country as soon as possible and live in hiding in some other country. And yes, don't call me again. He disconnects the call. The politicians and government officers who took bribe from Lee had all left the country. Now Lee starts living locked in his big house. He injects himself with many intoxicants, and every moment he is afraid that someone will catch him. In this way, 2 months pass. He had almost gone mad by taking drugs. One day he calls his wife Xian. He says that someone is trying to kill me by entering my house. I will not spare him. I have done a lot for my country. I will not fall into anyone's hands. In this way, he keeps on talking all sorts of useless things. Then by tracing his call, Shah finds out Lee's location and reaches his house with his team. Lee, who is extremely drunk, thinks that these people are Japanese, and the Japanese have occupied Korea. He picks up the gun and starts shooting at them. They get furious and immediately call the SWAT team. All of them together surround Lee's house. Lee is reloading his gun when Shah enters the house and holds Lee at gunpoint. Lee also takes out a pistol and tries to shoot himself with it, but the police stops him, due to which the bullet hits his shoulder. Then he is arrested and taken to the hospital. There he is first treated, and when he gets well, then Shah says that you have 2 options. Either you rot in jail for life, or just tell me the names of those government officers who are trying to make common people addicted to drugs by taking the bribe given by you. Then I will leave you, and yes, you will be able to live a good life with your wife and children again. Lee gives him a diary which has all the details like how much bribe he gave to whom, when and how, etc. On the basis of that, Sean arrests all those officers, and in this way, Lee's drug business worth 5,000 crore rupees comes to an end. A new government is formed and the Supreme Court sentences Lee to 15 years in jail. After this, many laws were made against drugs in Korea, but till date the drug market is going on. And with this, friends, this movie ends here, and nowadays, there is a little problem in the channel. Friends, recommendations are decreasing. Share it a little. We will meet you in the next video. Take care. Thanks for watching.